Alright folks, let's talk about Broly, and first up, Z Broly. Starting with his aura, he just has that base aura, so that is going to get a 3. And then moving on to his grab, he's got that stock grab. Hate to see it, it's gonna get a 2. And then moving on to his skills, he has the Wild Sense, which isn't bad, I don't hate to see the Wild Sense here. And then he has his signature, Kakarot, which throws him into sparking mode. This really isn't a terrible skill lineup, I am happy to give it a 4. And then for his blasts, he has a full power energy wave. Nothing special there, but it's a nice color. And then he has the high speed rush. Again, really nothing special, just a very straightforward rush. And then for his ultimate, he has the Super Explosive Wave, which once again is absolutely nothing special. This is a complete stock blast lineup. Super Explosive Wave looks cool, but I still don't love to see it as an ultimate. I think that I have to give these blasts a very middle of the road 3. And then for Z Broly's overall aura. I mean, this character design is iconic, but he didn't really do much fighting in this form. So it makes sense that he just sort of has generic attacks. So I can't really fault the design of the character too much. I still kind of have to rank it for what it is. And not only his moveset, but Z Broly in his base form as a whole is kind of mid. So I'm gonna give it a 3. Alright, now we are getting into the good stuff. Super Saiyan Broly. And this is a pretty solid transformation sequence. But starting off with his aura, it is just that Super Saiyan Gold. So that's gonna get a 4. And then for his grab, he does have that stock grab again, so unfortunately that's gonna get another 2. And then for his skills, he has the Saiyan Spirit, which gives him some buffs. And then we see that Kakarot return. Honestly, if I'm speaking just from what I would personally rather use, I think I would rather have the Wild Sense. So I'm gonna bump this skill lineup down to a 3. And then for his blast, we have the Bloody Smash, which is a super fun rush and super iconic. It's short and sweet, which is nice, and it just captures the scene really well. And then we have Trap Shooter, which only costs 2 key bars. And I think Trap Shooter in general in this game behaves a little bit more similarly to a volley, where you just throw a cluster of key blasts, and they still have some homing. But I don't know what it is, I still prefer it over a straight up volley. And then for his ultimate, he has his signature Eraser Cannon, which looks really good. I'm just not sure why it flashbangs you when you activate it. A blinding light. But the feedback on it is also really solid. I think I'm gonna give this blast lineup a 4. And then for his overall aura, I really like this version of Broly. Not only did he do Super Saiyan Blue first, but we also just get to see his ruthlessness when he's still kind of in control. He's got some iconic moments, and I think for the most part he was characterized really well in this game. So I'm gonna give his aura a 5. Alright, and last up for Z Broly, we have the legendary Super Saiyan himself, and this transformation sequence is very cool. And then for his aura, he really only has that Super Saiyan Gold still, but then when he charges up into sparking mode, this green sphere of legendary Super Saiyan energy surrounds him, and just explodes out when you enter sparking mode, and I think it's enough to get this aura a 5. And then moving on to his grab, first off, he does have 2 grabs, and his normal one is really not bad at all. I honestly think that I would give this one a 4 within its own context, but if you grab Super Saiyan Goku, it does this scene from the movie, where he grabs him by the hair and then just sends him flying. It's really, really good, and it is gonna get this grab a 5. And then for his skills, he has Explosive Wave, as well as Kakarot. And honestly, I think that the Explosive Wave is a pretty lateral step from that initial Wild Sense, so I'm gonna give this one a 4 as well. And then for his blast, that Eraser Cannon moves from the ultimate slot to his Blast 1 slot, and it still has that super shiny effect, but it's a really solid energy blast. And then for his next move, he has Gigantic Hammer, which is honestly his weakest rush in my opinion. It is an iconic move, but I just think the way that they handled it in Raging Blast and BT3 was a lot better. I don't know, I think there was just some weird animations in here that sort of mess up the pacing for me. But then he has his ultimate, the Omega Blaster, which is his iconic finishing move. And it looks really, really good, and we get that really cool shot of him throwing the extra energy into it. I have absolutely nothing to complain about here. This is a really good moveset, and I'm gonna give it a 4. And then for his overall aura, I mean, he is the legendary Super Saiyan. This is Broly, and for that, I gotta give him a 5. And now we are moving on to Super Broly. And starting off with his aura, he actually has this really nice green aura, and I'm gonna give that one a 4. And for his grab, he actually has Z Legendary Broly's grab in base. So I'm gonna do what I said, and in this context, I'm gonna give this grab a 4. And then for his skills, he has full power charge, fully replenishing his ki, and then he has going berserk, which puts him into sparking mode. These are both pretty good. I really like full power charge, and I really like an insta spark. I'm gonna give these these skills a 4. And then for his blasts, we have the full power energy wave, which 1, I really like that he shoots it out of his mouth, but 2, I actually really like how thin it is. Normally you want your beams to be big and have huge impact, but I kinda like how concentrated and focused this one looks with how thin it is. But then we have the gigantic crash. And what is going on with this Broly's moves? They are so good looking. I mean, this is one of the best rushes in the game. Granted, it costs 4 key bars, but this blast rush is better than a lot of ultimates in the game. Very good. And then for his ultimate, we have the gigantic impact, which this first one is really cool. The camera angles on this are just really sick, and it ends off with a cool beam sending them into the sky. But this ultimate actually has 2 variants. If you use gigantic impact while near a wall, it will play this cutscene, which is also really cool. I have absolutely 0 complaints about this Broly's blasts, so I am going to give it a 5. And then for his overall aura, I mean, they executed this version of Broly perfectly. I know this is technically not his base form, and I would have loved to get a base form, but it probably would have been very similar to what we got with Z Broly's base form. So I'm kind of okay that it's not here. Also, the voice actor is putting in a ton of work. Every single one of Broly's screams is insane. Like I said, no complaints. This Broly is gonna get a 5. And next up, we have Super Saiyan Broly, with another really excellent transformation. But moving on to his aura, again, he has this really nice vibrant green aura, but then when he's charging up to sparking mode, it is this really great looking sphere of energy once again. It looks really good, and I gotta give it a 5. And he's got the same grab again, so that's gonna get a 4. And then for his skills, he has the Saiyan Spirit as well as Howl. Get a couple buffs, go into sparking mode, not bad. I think it's gonna get a 4. And then for his blasts, we have the Gigantic Cannon, which is another really solid beam. It's basically just a full power energy wave, but it looks good and I like it. And then we have another incredible rush in the Gigantic Rage. I mean, if the one before wasn't one of the best rushes in the game, this one actually might be the best rush in the game. Normally, I don't love when this game turns away from the violence, but the implied violence of this shot, with how heavy these impacts feel, is perfect for this rush. This is one of the most brutal attacks in the game. It's so good. And then for his ultimate, we have the Gigantic Ball. And that's exactly what it is. He charges up this massive ball, and he throws it at him. But it also has really good feedback. Once again, Super Broly has a perfect blast lineup in my opinion. I'm gonna give this one another 5. And when it comes to his aura, there's nothing really that's changed between the last version and this version, so it's gonna get a 5. And lastly, we have Full Power Super Saiyan Broly, with another excellent transformation sequence. But talking about his aura, it's a different hue of green than the other Broly auras, which is cool that it sets it apart from this form. And then when he charges up into sparking, it has this big effect. I don't know, it just gets big and more violent. It's really nice looking, and I think it's deserving of a 5. And then moving on to his grab, he finally has a unique grab, and this one is a lot of fun. I really like the headbutt, and then just twirling them around like they're nothing. It's really good, and I'm gonna give it a 5. And then for his skills, he has the Wild move, which is kind of an instant transmission type move. It just instantly teleports him behind the opponent, locking them off and closing the distance. And then he has Untamed Instinct, which puts him into sparking mode and gives him buffs. This is definitely the best skill lineup of any of the forms of Broly in this game, so this one is going to get a definitive 5. And then for his blast, we have the Gigantic Cannon, which is another full power energy wave type move, and it's the same as he had in his last form. But it's still really solid, and I love a unique beam, so I don't mind them reusing it. And then we have the Blaster Meteor, which is just an explosive wave, and this one I have a harder time defending. Again, it looks really cool, the VFX make it a little bit more unique, but it costs 4 key bars, and it's just an explosive wave. But I promise, the ult is going to save this one. It is Gigantic Catastrophe. This ult is just so flashy. It is incredibly extra. First off, he just screams this energy beam out, and it creates this giant wall of smoke that disperses when he fires this final blast of energy through it, and when that makes contact with the opponent, he follows up with another giant volley of energy. I don't know, I just really like this attack. It's really unique, and it's just so fun to watch. I know he has a super explosive wave in his kit, but I'm gonna give this one a 5. And then for his aura, I mean, this is the definitive new version of Broly. This is Broly in the modern era. He's super powerful. He's still this rage-filled, uncontrolled monster. And have you guys seen the cover of the next volume of the manga? I mean, the aura is times 100, but Broly especially is looking really nice. So, yeah, it's gonna get a 5. And that is going to be it for this moveset review. If you guys enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. It really helps me out a lot. I also live stream almost every day of the week, and right now me and my wife are playing Split Fiction. So tune into one of our lives sometime soon and say hi. But with that, this has been a moveset review. I have been Gunchbot. Thank you everybody again so much for watching, and of course, as always, see you next time.